Court is back in session and cause number M333019. Case is filed the state of Texas versus Elgin Jenkins Jr. Let the record reflect that Mr. Jenkins is present in court with his attorney. Mr. Monk, the state is present with Assistant District Attorney, Attorney Erica Porter, and Attorney Courtney Davis. Let the record also reflect that the panel is back in court. State, are you ready?
Thanks, ready, Your Honor.
Defense, are you ready?
Ready, Your Honor.
Ladies and gentlemen of the panel, when your name is called, you're gonna come up to the jury. The bailiff is gonna tell you where to sit. There should be a badge in the chair. Please don't sit on the badge. Pick the badge up and you can pin it to your clothing. So at this time, I'll put you in the hands of our court administrator, Ms. Brilla Jackson, and she's gonna call your name one at a time. Ms. Jackson?
Arthur Hill,
Mr. Hill, would you please come forward? Now, Mr. Hill, please come forward. You're gonna go up in the jury box in the second set of seats, and you're gonna sit in that chair at the end with the black and yellow tape on it.
Heather Hollis,
And Ms. Hollis, you're gonna sit on the same row. You're gonna sit in the middle chair with the black and yellow tape.
Martha Hicks,
And Ms. Hicks, you're gonna sit in the first chair on the second row with the black and yellow tape. And the badge is in the chair.
Clifford Crenshaw,
Mr. Crenshaw, you're gonna sit on the first row in the jury box. And you're gonna sit in the chair, black and yellow tape in the middle down there.
Oh, yeah.
Melisha Thomas,
Thomas, you're gonna sit in the jury box in the chair with the black and yellow tape.
Roger Hodges,
Mr. Hodges,
Sir.
you're gonna sit in the first chair outside of the jury, right there, right here.
Right here?
Yes.
All right.
Well, don't sit on the badge.
Thing it didn't.
Yeah.
Rebecca Sanders,
Sanders? Now, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I must administer to you the second of the two oaths that I previously mentioned. So I need each and every one of you to raise your right hand, and after I finish administering the oath, please say, "I do." Do each of you solemnly swear or affirm that in the case of the state of Texas versus Elgin Jenkins Jr., that you will a true verdict render according to the law and the evidence, so help you God? Okay, you may put your hands down. Members of the jury, I will give you some instructions and a general idea of what to expect in this case. Every case is composed of facts and the law as it applies to the particular case. The facts come from the witnesses on the witness stand. The law comes from the statutes, codes, rules, and court decisions interpreting them and how they apply to this case. You and I have equal authority in this case, but it is divided authority. You are the sole judges of the facts, and I'm the sole judge of the law. You are the sole judges of the credibility of the witnesses and the way to be given their testimony. You can believe all of what a witness says, part of what a witness says, or none of what a witness says. As the trial progresses, the attorneys will probably make objections to questions asked by the other attorney of witnesses, or objections to the introduction or documents of objects. This means that in the objecting attorney's opinion, there is a legal reason why the testimony or document or object should not be received by you. Sometimes I will simply sustain or overrule the objection. And other times, it will require a lengthy discussion outside of your presence. If that happens, I will either ask you to step outside for a few minutes or ask the attorneys to come up to the bench so that you can't hear the discussion on the point of law. The reason for this, as I told you earlier, you are the sole judges of the facts you receive, and I'm the sole judge of the law. I can't be with you in the jury room when you deliberate the facts. Therefore, you can't be present or within hearing when I deliberate questions of law. The reason why I will sometimes ask you to step outside is because it is simply the most efficient way to do it. Otherwise, if we were to leave the courtroom, the court reporter would have to gather her equipment and take it with her, and the attorneys would have to gather their files, etc. The rulings I do make on questions of law in your presence are not evidence, and you are to disregard them. After all the evidence is in, and both the state and the defendant have rested their cases, the court will prepare and submit to you a written charge instructing you on the law in this case. We will then hear oral arguments from the attorneys. The attorneys have the right to make a summation of the evidence and to make reasonable deductions from this evidence. Since the state has the burden of proof, it has the right to open and close the summation or argument. Until you retire to deliberate, do not discuss this case amongst yourselves, and under no circumstances should you permit anyone to discuss the case with you. Do not attempt to learn from any source outside of the courtroom anything about the facts of this case, nor attempt any independent investigation on your own. Don't visit the scene involved in the facts of the case. Don't read any reports in the newspapers or watch TV reports about the case. Do not make up your mind about this case until all the evidence is in and you have been instructed on the law. Don't take notes during the progress of the trial. Don't visit other courts during a break if a trial or other proceeding is in progress. Badges that you have been given, please wear those badges at all times, identifying you as a juror. Ladies and gentlemen of the panel, those of you who was not selected as jurors in this case, I would like to thank you for taking your time for coming here today. The way our jury system or our judicial system is built, we cannot go forward on cases without individuals like you who take time out from your busy schedules to come here to make sure that justice is done. I know that when you came to court this afternoon, you looked over the door and you saw County Court at Law Number 2, Judge Terrence L. Holmes. And you probably said to yourself, oh, this is Judge Holmes' court. No, this is not Judge Holmes' court. This is your court because I'm only a public servant serving the citizens of Jefferson County. And I've said that to say this. Anytime that you're in the area of County Court at Law Number 2, please come and have a seat in your courtroom. The area that you're sitting in, we call that the peanut gallery. But it doesn't mean that you can bring peanuts in here and eat because this is not the Texas Roadhouse. But you can come and have a seat in your courtroom to see what goes on in County Court at Law Number 2. And I tell people this all the time. I think it's better than watching television. So if you would like to see what goes on in County Court at Law Number 2, please feel free to come and have a seat in County Court at Law Number 2. If you are unable to come to County Court at Law Number 2, we're on YouTube. So you can just get our YouTube channel and you can see what goes on in County Court at Law number 2. Now, before you leave, I usually give everyone a handshake, but you know, we still have COVID in our communities. However, I can give each and every one of you what I call an air handshake. So at this time, I'd like to thank each and every one of you for coming here today. The bailiff, she has some letters for you. And if you have any questions, please feel free to ask us whatever questions you have. And the other thing, if you need any excuses from the district clerk's office, the district clerk's office is right across the hall. You can go over there and they can give you whatever you need. Now, if they are closed, then you would have to either contact them by email or contact them by phone, or you can come back up in the morning or tomorrow and they can give you whatever you need. But again, on behalf of the citizens here in Jefferson County, and behalf of the staff here in County Court at Law number 2, we'd like to thank you for coming here today. And each and every one of you, please have a blessed day. You're excused and you may follow the bailiff. Okay, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, as I mentioned earlier during the impaneling portion, our court hours will be 1:30 till 5. You can see we close to 5. I don't think the state is going to be starting the case today. Am I correct?
No, yeah.
Okay, so tomorrow what will happen, the state will make an opening statement. If the defense, they can make an open statement or they can reserve it. And then after that, state will put on his case, call in witnesses. But before we do all of that, there'll be what we call a reading of the information. That's the charging instrument. So they'll read the charging instrument. The defendant will enter a plea. And once the plea is entered, then we'll go to the opening statements. And from there, we'll go to witnesses. Okay. And so again, ladies and gentlemen of the jury, I'd like to thank you for your time and attention. At this time, everyone please stand as the jury exit the courtroom. Please feel free to, when you come back tomorrow at 1:30, you're going to have a seat outside the courtroom because we may have business going on inside the courtroom. Okay? Okay, y'all have a blessed day. You're welcome. Going to be in recess till 1:30 tomorrow.